Ochaco, now fully clothed, walked up towards Bakugo's room with bandages and gauze in hand. She took a deep sigh, trying to conceal her evil grin. She coughed a few times, contorting her face to seriousness as she rapped on the wooden door. No response. She knocked again, harder this time. Go away, Deku. Fuck off or I'll blow you away. A loud angry voice came from the inside of the room. Ochako sighed. Here she goes. Wrong person, Bakugo. You've got Miss Deku to talk to this time. Open the door, I'm bandaging that knot on your forehead. I don't have a knot. You think I'm that weak? Bakugo, open the door. Ochako yelled, banging once really hard on the door. She heard a few large stomps before the door ripped open. I said I'm fine. Bakugo screamed, his eyes glowing red with anger. However, Ochako stood her ground. And my response to that is you have a baseball-sized knot on your forehead. Move. Ochako said loudly, pushing past Bakugo into his room. Hey, I didn't say. Shut your trap, Bakugo. Sit down and shut up. Ochako said, glaring at Bakugo and pointing towards a chair that was next to a desk. A temple rose in Bakugo's forehead before he stomped over and sat down in the chair. Ochako rose an eyebrow. Progress. Now sit still. Ochako said, getting her gauze and cleaner out. She lightly dabbed a big of cloth in the gauze before lightly tapping Bakugo's bump. Bakugo jumped. That shit hurts. He shouted, pulling away. So it does hurt. Ochako teased evilly. So much for being fine. She full-heartedly expected Bakugo to lung at her, however he just growled and sat in his chair. Ochako gave a chuckle. What the fuck are you laughing at, roundface? I'm not your stupid Deku boyfriend, so ouch. Bakugo yelled, as Ochako pressed the cloth into his knot with more force than before. What's your problem, Bakugo? Ochako asked as she returned to lightly tapping the bump. With Izuku, with Hima, with it all, what's got you so angry all the time? I don't know what you're talking about. They're just weak. And I'm not. Ochako asked, cleaning the cloth out. Bakugo clicked his tongue yet again. You're annoying. And irritating. But you're not weak. Bakugo said, folding his arms. You proved that at the stupid sports festival. Ochako turned to Bakugo with a surprised look. He respected their fight at the sports festival. Is that why he doesn't bully her like he does Izuku? But if that's the case, then why treat Izuku the way you do? Ochako asked as she returned to cleaning the knot. Bakugo grew quiet. You guys fought, many times actually. It's always a close if not even fight. That's none of your business, he started, but Ochako cut him off. It is my business, Bakugo. I love Izuku, and he tries so hard to find common ground with you. Ochako stopped prodding for a second. I'll be honest with you, Bakugo. I don't like you very much. I've heard what you did to Izuku in the past. I thought it was a simple rivalry before, but after what he told me, I know it's deeper than that. I know how much you physically and mentally hurt him. She paused to let Bakugo get his shouting out, however the shouting didn't come. Bakugo sat quiet, his hair covering his eyes. She continued, a bit of curiosity taking a hold. You've always said you would be the number one hero. I respected that about you, but I also don't see it happening. You bully those beneath you, you look down on them. You think you're amazing, and yet you left Hima to die. I didn't leave that damn girl to die. Bakugo said loudly, standing, the chair falling back. Ochako however stood strong. Then why did you leave? Why did you leave Izuku and her there? Ochaco asked. Was it out of spite because Izuku wanted to help? Did you feel if he was helping then it was beneath you? What's your problem? She shouted. I'm weak. Bakugo screamed, an explosion coming out of his hand. The force blew the chair back, the door that had been left open slammed shut. Ochaco fought to not get blown back. I got captured, I caused All Might's retirement, I couldn't fight against Gaslighter, I can't do anything. Bakugo slammed his fist on the desk. I can't find a way to get this guilty feeling out of my chest from the past. The past? Is he talking about Izuku? I am weak. Deku is stronger than I am right now. And I don't need that Hima girl to show me what's already present in my fucking mind. Ochaco and Bakugo stood alone for a second, Ochaco taking in what Bakugo had just spilled out. She blinked a few times before sighing. That's why he doesn't wanna be around Hima. Bakugo, sit down. I have to finish bandaging you up. Bakugo sat back down in the chair as Ochaco started wrapping his head up. I get it, I understand what it's like to feel weak. Not strong enough. Unable to help those important around you. Ochaco said as she wrapped. Fussy images of her parents and Izuku appeared in her mind as she spoke. If anyone made me realize how weak I was, it was you after our fight in the festival. Being weak is one thing, Bakugo. Ochaco finished the bandages, tying up the remains. And staying weak is another. But your actions around those because of being weak. That's another piece that matters, you know. Hima hasn't done anything to you. Izuku hasn't done anything to you. Ochaco said, packing up her medical kit. If you really want to make up for what you did to Izuku back then help out with Hima. Stop running from your weakness. And face it head on like you always do. She opened the door and exited, leaving Bakugo alone in the now messy room, to sit and think about everything. Ochaco leaned against the door, now standing in the hallway, her eyes closed. That wasn't as fun as she thought it would be, but it was fulfilling. Maybe Bakugo actually listened to her. So, how much did you hear? Ochaco said without opening her eyes. Pretty much everything after the explosion. The sweet voice of her lover said. Ochaco opened her eyes to see the familiar green hair, now covered in roughly patched bandages. Well, there you have it, that's why he's so hesitant around Hima. It's not Hima herself he's afraid of, it's the idea of her power showing him his own weakness. Izuku sighed as Ochaco walked forward and took his hand, both heading to their room. I should have been able to figure that out. Sorry for putting you through that. Izuku said, gripping Ochaco's hand tighter. Ochaco shrugged. Don't get me wrong, it was still fun. But, I do hope he learned something from it. Hima-chan, wake up. Eri called out. Hima slowly opened her eyes. This wasn't the shrine. Hima looked around at the large living room of the log cabin. This was Izuku and Ochako's home, and his as well. Hima, Eri called out again. Hima pushed herself up, with a bit of effort, and looked at Eri. Coco and Deku said you need to stay super warm since we are snowed in. Coco also made breakfast. Eri said, pointing to the coffee table with rice, miso soup and fish. And Baku made something for you as well. Bakugo. What did he make? Hima asked with a raspy voice. She usually spoke through illusion, using her real voice was challenging, but she had to start somewhere. Eri pointed towards the plate of sushi. He said, "Eat that if you like spicy things, weird ass." Hima looked at the dish, tears forming in her eyes. "I've never had spicy before.